Good.
We'll get started with Scott's service. We'll start over here with Corey on the right.
Scott, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Corey.
There seemed to be a lot of conviction in that clubhouse yesterday, even after a tough loss, two tough losses, that you guys weren't finished, and it didn't seem to be empty words, empty promises. How do you sort of assess the pulse of your team as we sit here today?
Two things, really. I think one is everybody in our clubhouse feels we're either a pitch or an at-bat away from maybe winning both games in Houston. So that's first of all. I think secondly, and maybe just as importantly, is everybody knows the impact that the fans are going to have in the game here the next couple of days in Seattle. So we're excited to get back out there. Certainly things didn't go our way in Houston. But we also know what the environment's going to be like here, and we're really stoked about that and looking forward to it. So combination of those two things, the guys should try to be as positive as they can be, coming off of two tough losses there. But we'll go out and play tomorrow, and we'll be ready to go.
Go around the left.
Hi, Scott. You talked a week and a half ago about what the emotional swings of the playoffs were going to be like. How do you feel like your guys have handled such drastic swings that you've faced so far?
I think I nailed it, didn't I? It's about as drastic as it could have gone here with the highs in Toronto and what we went through over in Houston. So I don't know if I was that prophetic in saying it. You know that's what happens. And if you're going to make it through, Ryan, you just killed the camera right there. Okay.
More ways than one.
Yeah. You know, if you're going to make it through, there's going to be some adversity you're going to have to deal with along the way. Certainly momentum swings without a course of a game, and then how certain teams are going, and then how do you get it back moving in your favor again. And I think we've done a really good job of recognizing that and understanding to get the momentum back in your favor again. You just got to focus on doing little things right, things that allow you to get in this position, and we have done that. Even in the game yesterday, when we were down in the game, we created a lot of opportunities. The traffic was there. Like I often say, each game comes down to 2 or 3 different at-bats throughout the course of the game, and you got to capitalize on them. We weren't able to do it yesterday, so we've done all the things right there as far as putting ourselves in a position to switch momentum again. Just didn't quite get it done yesterday.
Going to Keegan in the back.
Scott, Keegan Matheson with MLB.com. You spoke prior to the series about how impressed you were with how Julio has improved routines, his time management, things like that. On the field, where's his biggest growth been? Which area, opening day to today?
Well, good question. I think, probably making in-game adjustments has been a little bit better. It often takes younger players a while to get the feel of, okay, they're pitching me this way, or this is what they're doing to me in certain situations, or particular pitchers are doing to me. And I think his awareness there and making those adjustments a bit quicker has really helped him. I think the base running instinctive stuff, I know when the season started, he was excited about his ability to steal bases, and he was just taking off. First pitch, it was unbelievable. And all of a sudden he did, but I think he might have had 10 or 11 before he got caught. And he went one day in New York, I remember, and the guy slide stepped, and it was really quick time. It was not a situation. If the catcher put a ball anywhere close, he was going to be out, and he just came back. He goes, I needed to know. I needed to know how quick the pitcher had to be and the catcher had to be to actually throw me out. Now I know. I said, okay, now you know. But so he's learned some things there of just the nuances of the game and when to push the gas, when to back off a little bit. But he's still young. And he asks great questions. That's the big thing about him. He's super coachable, and he'll continue to get better.
Go Ryan.
Scott, Cal was really hard on himself last night talking about the pitches, specifically to Alvarez. What were your thoughts on him taking that much responsibility on it? I mean, they weren't horrible pitches, but he really talked about it was his responsibility for calling back-to-back.
I'm proud of Cal. I think, we spent a lot of time incorporating, his thoughts on game planning and where certain pitchers are, and more game management as much as anything. And yesterday into the game, he and I met specifically. We met together. I wanted to talk to him one-on-one before the game, make sure we're on the same page, and he was clearly on the same page. And, he didn't do anything like wrong or anything he cannot sleep about at night. He just, he's frustrated by the result that happens. But, he's very accountable, and that says a lot. And I think that's one of the reasons is he's so endeared by his teammates, is he does stand up and say, okay, I screwed this up, or we need to get better in this area. And he does. He makes adjustments. He'll never forget yesterday's game. It's a huge growing opportunity, learning experience for him that'll serve him well probably in tomorrow's game as we get going along there. So I'm actually proud of the way he stood up. And that's, you need to have that kind of accountability upon yourself to be a good catcher in this league. I really believe it. Like you know that you're the one guy on the team, on the field, other than the pitcher, can actually affect outcome. As much as anybody else on the field, and he really takes it to heart. So, I heard some of the comments he made, and I don't. And I talked to him quickly right after it happened in the game. I sat down with him. I said, he goes, hey, that didn't go as planned, whatever. I said, okay, we need to move on. Move on. The game is still to be won. And I thought he did turn the page, but after the game, you're always going to reflect upon it, and I didn't have a problem with it at all.
Go straight in the back, Jeff.
Hey, Scott. When you have a hitter as complete as Jordan Alvarez, somebody who seemingly doesn't have holes anywhere, how do you game plan that?
Instead of throwing it 4 inches off the plate, throw it a foot off the plate, I guess, is the best way to go about it. I thought, game plan, going into the game yesterday. And again, Luis Castillo, awesome pitcher, great stuff. And what makes him really good is his belief that he can get any hitter out in any situation. Understood. But going into the game yesterday, we wanted to be careful with him. I thought he did a great job the first 2 at-bats. He really did a nice job mixing back and forth, changing locations, eye levels, all the things you need to do. Got a couple miss hits out of him, created a couple outs. It happens. And when hitters get that hot, I call him, he's in the zone. The ball looks this big. You can't slow him down. You can't speed him up. And sometimes it's best to just, pass on by. Unfortunately, they have other players in their lineup, too, that are really good. So it doesn't make it all that easy all the time. But, it's a challenge. There's no question about it. You have to take what your pitcher on the mound has that particular day and what pitch he controls the best. You can just say, just throw them all off-speed pitches. Well, that doesn't always work either. Okay, if you leave one in the bad part of the play, or just throw them all fastballs. Whatever pitches you can control the best, try to get them in the right spots, and then go from there. And if you get behind the count, or if it doesn't work out, like I said, you roll on by and go to the next guy.
We'll go up in the front. Daniel.
Scott, offensively, what have you seen from your ball club here in the postseason? It just seems like the intensity and the quality of the bats are really high, just one plate appearance after the next.
I'm glad you brought it up, Daniel. I think our offensive approach and our ability to get guys on base and score runs for the most part, obviously yesterday we weren't as productive at runners in scoring position, but leading up to that, as good as we've been at any point in the season, up and down the lineup. I think we've had guys, you've seen it throughout the year, they get hot for extended periods of time and they carry us, maybe 2 or 3 at a time. But just the quality of bat up and down the lineup has been outstanding. A tribute to our guys and the game planning. They've all bought into 9 versus 1. Them together, them 9, have a better chance of beating that one guy on the mound than just one guy individually trying to hit a couple homers. They clearly have bought into that and understanding that's what leads to winning baseball, certainly at this time of year. So I couldn't be any happier with the quality of our bats. We took our walks yesterday. We continued to grind through their starting pitching, and when you do that, good things usually happen. Ultimately, you need to get the big hit, and we just weren't able to get that yesterday. But up and down the lineup, it's been really good.
Anything else for Scott? Ryan?
Scott, talking to your players post-game, the amount of belief they have in their resiliency and just in being able to figure this out and come back. A lot of them talked about the success and how well they played, but a lot of them said it just comes from something else. Where do you think it comes from? Was it from some of the guys from last year? Was Mitch and Ty talking about it, or is it what you guys did this year at 29 and 39? Where do you think that belief comes from that they can be resilient and bounce back from this?
Well, I think, we had, got the team together after the game yesterday, and I thought it was appropriate at that time to kind of talk where we're at in this moment and what it's going to take to turn it around. I mentioned earlier to Corey's question, the belief for me comes from a collective group that we've been there before. We have come back when people have written us off. And really every team in the playoffs, outside maybe the Astros and the Dodgers, didn't really have to go through those parts of the season. Everybody else did. And when you make it through the other side, when you go through a lull or a low period like that, it does build confidence within the group. And I think that's what you're seeing come out. So we've been there before throughout the course of our season, we figure out a way to play a really good game. You still got to win it. You can play a good game and lose it, and we've certainly gone through that here recently. We got to play a good game and win it and finish it. But we got the pieces to do it. There's no question about it. And then kind of the factor that I don't think is getting talked about enough. I think it's going to show up tomorrow in the first inning is when there's 45,000 Mariner fans in the stands, pumped and ready to go, and all behind us, because we certainly need it. I've talked about it when we clinched or ended the drought, how valuable our fan base has been to this team. This team really, somehow we get wired, we get going when it gets loud here. And I really ask everybody to bring it. Not just our team, but all 45,000 people are going to show up here tomorrow because we need it.
All right. Thanks for coming in, Scott.
Yep.
Start on the right with Corey.
Hi, Julio.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, good. I imagine as a kid you watched a lot of playoff baseball on TV and all that, but what has this experience been like going through these games, playing on the road in hostile environments, and just what kind of vibe have you gotten from postseason baseball?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I feel like this is the best baseball you can play, and it's exciting. It's exciting being able to play with a fan base so engaged in the game and like going at you basically. It's exciting to play in an environment like that, and I feel like everybody play as hard as they can. So that's why I'm a big fan of playing the postseason.
We'll go on the left, Daniel.
Julio, you've engaged with this fan base since you were in the minors and have had a real affinity and attachment for them. Have you allowed yourself to think of what tomorrow's atmosphere is going to be like with the sold-out crowd and this environment that's going to be here?
I definitely engage a lot with the Mariners fans coming up, and I know it's going to be a lot of excitement out there. And I cannot wait to step on the field with them and in the first postseason game in a long time here. I'm definitely excited for that, and I know they're going to enjoy it.
Go to Shannon in the far left.
Julio, you're 4 games into your first postseason games. What's different? What's different about those games when you get out on the field?
I just feel like everybody's lying out everything they got on the line to win the game. And I feel like there is no other goal, there is no numbers, there is no season, there is no anything. I feel like everybody just lying out everything they got to get that win that night. And I feel like that's my biggest takeaway of those games. And that's why I love them so much. Because I feel like every time you step on the field, doesn't matter what game it is, I feel like you should just lie everything you got to win that night.
Go Ryan in the middle.
Julio, you said it last night, and a lot of the players said it, that you guys are going to come back. You're going to find a way. Why do you believe that this team will come back and compete and find a way to win this series?
I just feel like everybody have been watching the games, and things didn't go away in those games. I feel like we did everything we could. We just didn't catch a break. I feel like we just gonna keep putting the pressure on, keep putting good at bats. I feel like we faced pretty much the 2 best pitchers they got. We put out good games. With respect to them because they're a really good team too. But I feel like we're right there with them. I feel like we got stuff to compete, and we got enough to turn everything around.
Go far left in the second row.
I saw you retweeted the video last week of the guys at the car dealership that were dancing and doing the circle. I mean, with those guys in particular, and even just the fan base as a whole, I mean, seeing the excitement around town, I mean, what does it mean just to you in your first year here to have delivered and to have people that excited?
I feel like that's what it's everything about. I feel like if you see the genuine joy that the Mariners fans show for the love of the game, and it's just amazing. I feel like that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, just playing for them, because this is a really fun fan base to play for. It's a really fun fan base. I feel like that's why I feel like this is probably one of the best places to play to, because just how genuine the love for the team is. And you can see it in that video. They were just at a dealership right now and doing the little wheel we do whenever we win a game. I feel like there is not a better example than that right there.
Anything else for Julio? We'll go Daniel in the front.
Julio, throughout the regular season, whether it was the home run derby or the late inning homers, you seem to just kind of drown out the pressure. How much has that mentality helped you to take into the postseason where the pressure is as high as it's going to be?
I feel like a lot, man. I feel like in those situations, if you're afraid to give your best shot, then you're not gonna get a better result. You know, I feel like if you don't give your best in those situations, even though you can be nervous or whatever, but I feel like that doesn't have to get in the way of what you're trying to do. I feel like never just a feeling, but I feel like if you find a way to manage that feeling and just keep on going, and you keep on being yourself in those special moments, I feel like you're gonna deliver. And I find it fun. I find it fun being able to get those clutch hits, or whenever everybody is against you, and it's just you and the pitcher right there in the box. I feel like it's just fun whenever everybody's just against you and you come out on top.
Anything else for Julio? All right, thanks for coming in, Julio.
All right, thank you guys.